Good morning, coffee and football, drive time football. This is the 1958 season. Again, this is a little exhibition game using my new football simulation charts to simulate what's happening on the field for drive time football. So first off, I want to point out that I made a mistake in yesterday's game. So on all of Arizona's missed field goals, I should have rolled the missed field goal column, and that would have told me how far the field goal was. And then that would have retconned back their offensive yardage to the new line of scrimmage where they would have kicked the missed field goal. And that would have affected their total yards for the game. Well, in some cases, well, yeah, I mean, all of these are longer than if they were inside the 20. So when they missed it to 3, I would have rolled this chart. I could have been a 40. That means they would have suffered, say, a 15-yard penalty, a sack, and they would have missed it from 40 yards out, and that would have retconned back them out of the red zone. And so that would have been a negative drive toward their total yardage, but I didn't do that. And they missed in that game 3 field goals, so it would have been significant yardage against Arizona. And it is on here. If you MFG, then roll the MFG distance for the new line of scrimmage. It's on my charts. I was in the throes of, hey, we're at the 3. Oh, we missed it. It must be a 20-yarder. But you have to retcon their drive back as if they suffered penalties, sacks, something, right? And yes, so you could have a big loss, but that would retcon back to a reasonable missed field goal distance, and it would cut back their yardage, right? So if I were to go back and re-roll on that test sheet just their missed field goals, I think Arizona's yardage would have come down probably, maybe even in the sub 350 area, which would have been far more realistic, right? Okay. So I needed to say that before I start here. So I will be doing that correctly today with Green Bay and Philly. Both these teams were not very good. I randomly grabbed these two. I shuffled my cards and just took 2 out. 1-10-1 Green Bay, so this ought to be low scoring, and 2-9-1 Philly. So let's see what a game like this with 2 really bad teams looks like. I'm going to flip the coin for the Green Bay Packers. Heads. It is tails. So Green Bay, our Philly is going to take the ball. So Green Bay is technically going to kick off. So it's going to be Philly, Green Bay, Philly, Green Bay to start. This is the first quarter. All right, folks, so the kickoff here for Green Bay 5 is going to put the ball to 1. So Philadelphia fills the ball to 1, and they're going to return it out 11. Holy cow, they're going to return it out 34 yards. 9, 19, 29, and 5 out to the 35-yard line. First down for Philly. Own 35. All right, let's go to work. Philadelphia takes the offense. They are going down the field. Then it's going to be a punt. So Philly's going to drive 5. Philly is going to drive 8 yards. So Philly goes punt. Drive distance was 8 yards. So again, we have our LOS, our result, our drive distance, and then we have the punt itself. And the punt is going to be... So we drove the ball 8 yards. So basically on 4th and 2, they had to punt 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 is the punt. The punt goes 43 yards. 2, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1. Filled it at the 14, and they return it to Green Bay. And 6 for Green Bay on the punt return is fair catch. All right, so our first drive already amounts to no points, and this of course is the final yards here, right? And this would be the actual result. Okay, so we got line of scrimmage start, the result of the roll, the drive distance, the actual result, interception, punt, touchdown, whatever, and then the total yards for their drive, 8. So I don't know if you can see how I'm doing that. Hopefully this is legible. There we go. All right. So here we go. Going to work. Green Bay goes to work after the punt. And this is you're gonna find if you do the missed field goals properly, the yardage should be right. 12. It's gonna be offense 5. Offense 5 is a fumble, but they're gonna get a big return. So they got from their own 14. It's gonna be a fumble. The drive is 12. They're gonna drive the ball 26. So they're having a good drive. 11, 21, and 5, and poof, they cough it up 26 yards, fumble lost. And Philly cannot return it for a touchdown, but they're going to get 26 yards on their first drive. Philly will take over at the defense 40. Now things are getting interesting here. Defense 40 for Philadelphia Eagles. This Eagles team in 2 years will be NFL champs with a remarkable football team, led by Chuck Bednarik, one of my favorites. All right, so we're looking at defense 5. That's going to be a fumble right back. So Philly struggling 2. It's a poor drive, so they go nowhere and they fumble. So it could be a first down fumble. So they don't get any yardage. They fumble the ball away. Fumble lost. They're not going to get any yardage. And the fumble return, 3. They can score on a 3 here, folks. Well, if I rolled a 1, nope. So no return for a touchdown, but Green Bay will take over. So basically, they fumbled the ball away, having gained nothing. Right? It could have been 3rd and 10, 2nd and 10, 1st and 10, at their own 40. This is the potentially last drive of the quarter. Here we go. So the Green Bay Packers rush the field, happy as Philadelphia's coughed it up right back. And again, both these teams are bad, so it should be low scoring. 12 again. Offense 9. 9 is going to be punt. So they're going to punt, and I rolled a 12, so it's a good drive. They drove 26 and punted 10-26. So this would be a coffin corner punt because of where we're at. And the coffin corner punt, so it's going to be an actual, so 26-yard drive, CC punt 6. CC punt 6 is going to be 23. They're at the, so it's going to be, they were here, 34. That's going to be 9, 19, and 4. Pinned them at the 11-yard line. So remember, there's no return, right, and downed. And they get 26 more. All right, does Philly get their next drive? They do. So Philly goes to work here, right? So Philly own 11. So Philly's losing the field position battle. It's going to be defense 9. Defense 9 is punt. So right now, 2 bad teams can't get any offense going. 6 on the drive. They're going to drive it out 12 yards. So they managed to get a first, 9, 10, 11, 12. At some point, they managed to get a first here, but end up having to punt the ball. And it's going to be a punt. The punt goes 9. 9 on the punt is, what am I at here? 9 on the punt is 51 yards. 12, 22, 32, 42, 51. And the return is 7. He's going to bring it back 9 yards. Beautiful return. So it's going to be Green Bay. Do they get their final drive? 6. They do. So Green Bay. So we're going to have a very active first quarter. We're at the 35. Own 35. Green Bay is, believe it or not, winning the yardage and field position battle, but they can't score any points. So somebody's going to break this game open, and it might be all they need to win. Defense 6. It's going to be a red zone trip. Finally, we're going to get a red zone trip. 3. The red zone is going to down to the 5. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60-yard drive. So we're going to have red zone, 65 yards. And in the red zone, let's see what the Green Bay Packers do. In the red zone, they pitch it out to Howie Ferguson. What is that, 8? 8 is touchdown pass. No, it's going to be Star. TD pass. And the extra point. Star breaks the ice. The fans are on their feet. 10. The extra point's good. And that is actually 35. It's actually, wait a second, we were at the 35. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65. Yep, 70? That can't be right. We were at the 35. How am I doing that wrong? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Oh, 65. Jesus, Jason. And 65 is the total drive on that. And that's the first quarter in the books. Green Bay up 7-0 on Philly. So Philly fans not too happy. And now we're seeing much more realistic yardage, right? So I haven't changed anything. I just remembered that I forgot to do the missed field goals should have cost Arizona yardage, right? That reflects not getting a good drive, not finishing a good drive. Okay, here we go. We got 10. 10 on the kickoff is going to be the 11. So Philly takes it at the 11. And Tommy McDonald, 3. Tommy McDonald's going to return at 14. So we're at the 25-yard line. And Philadelphia own 25. Go ahead and just draw these down here. All right. Hallelujah. Let's see if Philly should find a way to win this game. But folks, you never know. You got to play the games. Defense 6 is red zone. There it is. So Philly's going to get a big drive. Down to the red zone. 12. Holy cow, the red zone. They're going to get into the red zone just at the 19, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 6. So 56 yards so far. Can they score? They're in the red zone. Can Philly knot it up? 4. I don't think so. Yep, TD run. How about them apples? That's going to be Peaks. Clarence Peaks on a TD run. The extra point can be missed, but folks, we got a ball game now in our hands, and it's good. PAT's good, and that's now going to be a 70. 19. It's a 19-yard. So our touchdown pass was 5 yards. So this was 60. Here, I'll get a 5-yard TD pass, and this is a 19-yard TD run. So 56 and 19 is 75. Right, good. Thank you, Jason. All right, Green Bay, going to kick it off. I'm having trouble with my maths this morning. 1 touchback. So Green Bay will not get a chance to return this. Their own 20. And they go to work, folks. It's going to be offense. It's offense 7. Punt. So they're going to punt. The drive 6. They're going to drive it 12 yards. So again, they probably get a first down in this drive before the punt. The punt 4. The punt is 38 yards. 3, 10, 20, 30, and 5. Punt 38. And the return by, oh God, I can't remember. What was it, Watkins? Wells? I can't remember who's the turn man here. 5. 5 is 7-yard return. 5, 6, 7. So that's a really nice average, 7 yards. Okay, so Philly has the ball at the 37. We got us a ball game, folks. Man, this is great. Here we go. Roll the dice. Defense. Defense 12. Green Bay forces a punt. The drive is actually a decent drive. 8. It's going to be a drive for 16, 3, 10, and then we're going to get our punt. 7 on the punt is 45 yards. Ooh, folks, that's going to be at the 2. And we're going to have to return it. We don't have rules for bouncing to the end zone. You can invent a rule easily. Does it bounce? 11, good punt return, though. 17 yards out to the 19. So we get a punt of 41, and a return of 17. And folks, we are at the 19-yard line. And the yardage here for Green Bay was 12. Yardage here for Philly was 16. All right, Green Bay at their own 19. All right, Green Bay. It's a 7-7 game here, folks, in a 1958 battle between two teams that won only combined 3 points. 3 games, excuse me. It's going to be defense 5. So Green Bay goes to work, defense 5. Picked off. Look at this. This is huge. And they were driving when they threw that 14 yards, so they'd already got a first down, and then they threw an interception. And that interception was how far from the line of scrimmage? 8. It's going to be pretty deep downfield, 14 yards downfield. So 2, 10, and 2, plus 14, and the return with a chance and a touchdown for, nope, Philly can't return interception, so they just get the return. And 10, the return is 27 yards, 2, 10, 20 and 5. We're at the red zone line. We still play. If I roll red zone, you still have to play out. If I roll a red zone, that'll just be where they end up gaining or losing. And Green Bay on that drive got 16 yards. Does Philly get their final drive? 11. They do not. So they're going to run out of time. Does Green Bay get this ball back? 6. Green Bay does. But does Green Bay run out of time? They do not. So Green Bay will get the drive. So from here, I'm going to note this as Philly at the defense's 20. And then we have to note something. We're going to call that a turnover on downs. So technically, we are going to have some reason for it. Because I'm using this chart to keep the stats correct. Their drive will have gone nowhere. So they basically, for some reason, did not kick a field goal here. Right? It would be a TOD. And they would have had no yardage. And Green Bay will get their final drive from their own 20. And we'll roll the dice. So it's very easy to just come up with a possession there that amounts to nothing. Okay, Green Bay 20. Defense 5 is intercepted. Oh no. How far did they drive? 12. They had a big drive though. They went 26 before they threw the pick. 10, 20, and 6. They threw an interception here. 26-yard drive. I think I messed up that Green Bay drive. Was it 24 yards? I think it was, wasn't it? No, it was a 16-yard drive. Okay. How far was the interception from the line of scrimmage? 3. It was, so it was a dink pass, 6 yards into the flat. INT plus 6. And the return, and they cannot return it for a touchdown. So unfortunately for Philly, they will not get it. Ooh, 11 though. They go back 27 again to 10, 25. They return it to the 25, but time expires. And there's the first half, folks. Philly scored 7. It is 7-7 at halftime between teams that combined for a total of 3 wins and about 400 total points between them in the real season. Third quarter, and again, yardage-wise, much better here. So Philly got the opening kickoff. That means Green Bay will get the ball. The kickoff, Green Bay will field this ball 8 at the 7. And they will take off with it. They have no kick return for a touchdown. They take off and get out 7 to the 22. So add 22 to this, 29-yard line. So very good start for the Packers. Out to the 29, own 29. And then Philly, Green Bay, Philly. We know that there's at least the minimum number of possessions per quarter. All right, here we go. Philadelphia. The Eagle fans would love to, Green Bay fans would love to win this game in preseason on the road. All right. Offense 7 is punt. So again, back to what they do best, punt. 3, it's a short drive, 3 yards. So basically, on 4th and 7, they punt the ball. And they punt the ball 9, going to punt it 51 yards. 11, 21, 31, 41, 51 to the 20. And the return for Philly, 5 is 7 yards. Beautiful. So they're averaging that 7, which is really nice. And again, this is the kind of game you would expect to see here in the 50s from these two. A 3-yard drive for Green Bay. All right, Philadelphia fans now would like to see them secure the lead and put Green Bay away here. And they would like it to happen sooner than later. Defense 6 is a red zone drive. How about that? So from their own 27, red zone trip, 1 to the 1-yard line. Oh, wow. So from the 27, that would be 73. Would put them in the end zone, right? 73. So 72-yard drive so far. And let's see what happens at the red zone. 7. So the Eagles TD pass. How about that? So it's going to be, oh my God, who is this? Was this Van Brocklin? I think it was Van Brocklin. TD pass. And the PAT is good. And that's going to be a 73-yard drive. Very nice. Philadelphia's going to take the lead, folks. Here we go, 11. Kickoff to the 13. Get a little faster here as I wake up and as I'm trying to teach this system. So I'm going slow, writing everything down for people. And the return is 25, 2, 10, 23. Okay, so it's going to be their own 38 for Green Bay. So another great kick return position here. Can Green Bay make it interesting? Defense 5 is touchdown. Oops, defense 5 is interception. And the drive goes 7. They're going to drive it 14 yards before they turn it over. 2, 10, and 2. And the interception is how far downfield? He drops back and heaves it into the flat. A 4-yard pass into the flat. It's going to get picked off and returned 8. So picked off in the flat by the cornerback who returns it 2. 1, 2. And there we have it, folks. So he catches it and gets plowed under. It is a 14-yard drive for the Packers. Philly takes over on their own 46. Wow, awesome, incredible. And I can't wait to see the yardage now. We haven't had a missed field goal yet. Okay, offense for Philly, and we're looking at 7, is fumble. Shoot, they got a fumble, and well, they are a bad team. My God. And 6, they drive the ball 12 yards before they cough it up. Fumble lost. And remember, they do have a fumble return. And no, they don't return it for a fumble. For a touchdown. Look at this. Does Green Bay get their next drive? They do. So Green Bay will get another drive. They're down by 7, third quarter. It's going to be defense 3 is punt. So from their defense's 46, they're going to be forced to punt. The drive was 12 yards. Yeah, they're not going to kick a field goal from here. And we're going to coffin corner punt. Coffin corner punt. 4 is going to be nice, 17 yards. 9 and 8 is going to pin them out at the 17. And that is a downed, right? And that's going to be a 12-yard drive. Does Philly get their next drive? They do. Philadelphia goes to work on the 3rd. Let's roll that right. And it's going to be defense 5 is fumble back. Damn, Philly gives it right back. This time, though, it's a real problem as they're on their own 17. Fumble. How far did they drive it? 7. They're going to drive it 14 yards, 3, 10. They're going to fumble it away at the 31. 14-yard drive. Fumble, lost, and they drove 14. Fourth quarter, about to get it away. Fortunately, Philly scored. It's 14-0 Philly, and now Green Bay with the ball at the defense's 31-yard line. Here we go. Defense is 31. What can Philly do with this? And it is offense 3. This is not, it's a red zone trip. You got to be kidding me. But 4 is going to put them in the red zone at the 7-yard line. 11, 21, 22, 23 yard drive. And here we go. What do they do in the red zone? Can they tie this ball game up? 10. 10 is missed field goal. Okay, so perfect. We needed this. Missed field goal. So now we're going to find out how many yardage they lost to have to settle for the field goal. So the field goal is missed from the 6. 6 is they missed the kick from the 39. So that's going to be, we know 7 added to 32. So we're here. They're going to lose 25 minus 25. And they're going to miss a 39-yard field goal. So they actually have a -2 drive. So let me show you how that works. So this is what I should have been doing for Arizona's missed kicks. We still account for how long they drove to get into the field goal. So they went 23 yards to get down to the 7, but they kicked from the 39, which means they suffered maybe a sack, maybe a 15-yard penalty, maybe another run for a loss, whatever, but something pushed them back to the 39, and they lose 25. So they end up with a total from 25 from 23 is -2-yard drive, right? And if I had done this properly with Arizona's 3 missed kicks, Arizona would not have had 412 yards rushing. So I wanted to clarify that. Okay. And meanwhile, they're going to get the ball from where it was kicked at the 15-yard line. So Philly dodges a bullet. That would have given Green Bay, if they could have scored something, they would have given it, put them in a position to be successful. They're at the 15. So now Philly wants to drive, get this done. They don't want to be in a tie game with a bad football team. All right. Where are we at here? Offense 7 is going to be fumble. Philly, you can't keep fumbling it away. 8, though, they're going to drive it 16 yards. So they get a 16-yard drive. They're going to fumble, lost. Let's see if it's returned for a touchdown. Oh my God, 2. No, very close to being returned. They do get 16 yards. But look at this, folks. Green Bay at the defense is 30 this time. No, 31, excuse me. Defense is 31. My gosh, you got to be kidding me. Green Bay with another great opportunity in short field. It's going to be offense 9 is punt. So again, we're going to end up... Now remember, if they're in the red zone, it's a turnover on downs. Or we can coffin corner. The drive is 3. The drive goes 3 yards. So this would be a punt. 3-yard drive. It's going to be a coffin corner punt, which, again, not that unheard of considering how poor place kicking was back in the day. And, again, narratively, was their kicker injured? Maybe. Dinged up? Who knows? Doesn't make any difference. They go 3 yards. 1, 2, 3. They're going to coffin corner punt. 12. They're going to boot it through the end zone. So the ball's going to come out to the 20. So it's going to be a coffin corner punt touchback. But they had a 3-yard drive. Philadelphia owned 20. Gosh, Philly is being pinned down here. It's like a boxer trapped in a corner trying not to get knocked out, even though he's winning the fight. Defense 11 is a punt, so Philly's going to drive, and they're going to drive 3. They're going to drive a total of 3 yards and punt. And their punt, let's hope, gets it out of this territory. Yep, boom. 57 yards to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 7-yard punt. And the return is 9. 9 on the return is a decent punt return of 13. And Green Bay, now folks, did they get their final drive? So I want to say Green Bay. Do they get their final drive? 2 to 9 they do. 6 they do. Does time expire? It does not. So they will get this final drive. Green Bay with a chance to tie the game right here. Green Bay goes to work. It's going to be offense 10, punt. They have no choice. They're going to go from their own 33. They will have to turn it over. They don't know. They're thinking they might get it back. How far was the drive? 6. 12-yard drive. And they're going to punt. The punt is 9. 9 is a 51-yard punt. So 12, 22, 32, 42, 51. And the return by Philly at home in front of hometown fans. They're going to get a 1-yard return. And now, does Philly get their final drive? They do. Does time run out? It does not. So here we go. Philly will get a drive just to add insult to injury from their own 17. And this will be the final drive, folks, from their own 17. And it's going to be defense 11. They're going to be forced to punt, get it out of their territory. Their drive is a good one, though. They go 22 yards. 13, 22. So 22-yard drive, they will punt. And their punt goes 4. It's going to be a 38-yard punt. So 11, 21, 31, and 7. And again, no chance for the Packers to return this for a touchdown, but we do want to get the data. And 2, they're going to go 1 yard on the punt return, and it will sound. So we had a 3-yard drive from Philly, we had a 12-yard drive from Green Bay, and then we had another 22-yard drive. Now we're going to see a much more realistic total offense. The Raiders scored 35 and had 393 yards. That's spot on. Arizona was shut out in a game. They turned it over 5 times, missed 3 kicks. They should not have had 412 yards rushing, but I had miscalculated missing field goals. So let's just see here. I'm going to do total offense for Green Bay. All right, so Green Bay had 26, 26, 65, 12, 16, 26, 3, 14. Second half was all Philly. Well, we shouldn't say it was all anybody. 12 and 12. And then minus 2. And then 3. And then 12. Green Bay had 225 yards of offense, scored 7 points. Missed a field goal. That is much more. He had 1 touchdown and 225 yards of offense. Philadelphia, of course, scored only 14, but let's tally Philly. Okay, Philly had 8, 0, and 12. So they had a 20-yard first quarter, not great, but then Philly had a 75-yard drive. Then they had a 16-yard drive. And then they had a, oh my God, another 0-yard drive. Holy cow. And then Philly had a 73-yard drive. And then Philly had a 12-yard drive. And then Philly had a 14-yard drive. And then Philly had a 16-yard drive. Oof, then they had a 3-yard drive. So this was an ugly offensive game, and then a 22-yard drive. They had 251 yards. Philly, 251, and scored 14 points. Now that is much better. 1958 football. Nothing changed. These charts should work for any era you're playing. It's going to depend a lot on whether teams have red zone offenses or red zone defenses, whether they give up yardage. What's most important is when you miss a field goal, you have to retcon back the red zone. So they were down to the, so they had to 31, they got down to the, I can't remember what it was, but the drive was, well, they got down to the 7 or 8. But because they missed a 39-yarder, we got to account for that as yardage lost to kick the field goal, which would be sacks, runs for losses, penalties. And if we retcon back missed field goals, so if I go back and do this for the Arizona, that might cost them 60 yards, and 60 from 312. They would still have 360 yards of offense, but it would have been a far more realistic. Anyway, another preseason test of my drive time football simulation, right? We're simulating everything else but the actual results. So, pretty cool. Thanks for watching. Good day.